Yo, what up? It's Damizza hanging out with the TFU Podcast. And join me every Monday at 5 p.m. when I listen to your music live on Instagram. The link is in my bio. Check it out.
I'm down 162 pounds in 6 months, and it feels great. Looking at myself in the mirror is a trip. I marvel at myself now because I'm like, man, I've done this in 6 months. 6 months is not that long ago.
I started this program back on July 1st at 288.5 pounds. Today I weighed in at 184. When I first got here, I was sad and depressed and stressed out. Over time, I regained my self-esteem, my willpower, my determination, and those things have helped me to grow and become happier with myself and in life.
Use code TFU10 for a discount on the full body cleanse.
Welcome into another episode of TFU Podcast.
Let's go.
This man needs no introduction.
Talk about
He's
it.
a goddamn legend.
Yes, he is.
One of the wisest men in the industry. Always
talking.
giving out free game. Damizza in the house.
Keep talking. Let's go. Is that good?
Yeah.
I'm here for my bi-monthly now therapy session.
I think we're a little late on it, but I think you're too busy over there.
Yeah,
You
in between.
traveling. Every time I ask you, you're going somewhere.
You know, I've been having so much fun. I've been doing universities.
I saw that.
You know what I mean?
yeah.
I've been doing speaking engagements and stuff like that.
I fucking love that.
Yeah, I even did LA Recording School. I did Toronto. I'm doing New York here coming soon.
So people are flying you out.
Yeah, and paying me. What?
Yeah, I already knew they were paying you.
You know?
You're not paying you, and you're going. Are you talking about music industry stuff?
Everything. You know, every school is different. Some people just want me to sit there and ask questions. Some people it's writing songs. Some people it's the music business. Sometimes it's just tell your story and then we ask questions. I mean, it's different for everyone. Dude, and I'm blown away because there's so many talented people out there right now that just don't have an outlet, that just need to know. You all right?
I'm good.
Okay.
That's fucking dope. No, I do, dude. I really fucking love that. I never forget. I was in school. I was at like Oregon University, and I think KRS-One. Well, I know KRS-One came to speak.
Yeah.
And his whole theme was it's a pimp and hoe society.
Yes.
And he said, and basically he was like, "Are you gonna be a pimp or are you gonna be a hoe?" And that's how he kind of started it, and then he just went into it, and it was amazing.
And you know, hey. We're the OnlyFans generation.
Yeah, yeah. Now, so, do you have like how do we find if we want to go see you do one of these events?
Well, I mean, each one is promoted independently. You know what I mean? So wherever I'm going, you know, just whatever your social media is, or watch my social media, and I'd say I'm going, and you know, just keeping ear to the street, man.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun, though.
I definitely want to go to. I want to check you out. That's gonna be awesome.
We have a blast.
Yeah, that's awesome right there.
And I get to hear this young talent, which is so much fun.
Okay.
You know, like for instance, I was blown away going to Toronto. Because usually, you know, when you go to these things, it's people that aren't in the music business or haven't been trained. You know, it's usually a song is bad or a mix is bad or there's one thing missing. But in like when I was in Toronto, these kids, like they had radio ready singles. And it's like I didn't hear one record that wasn't like finished and done.
Oh, wow.
It was crazy. And then I've been doing Monday nights, I do Nero. You know, where I sit and they upload their music, the links in my bio, and they upload their music. I just sit and listen to music and give my critiques.
Okay.
So
now,
that's fun,
Are
too.
you getting paid to do that one?
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
Oh, yeah.
That's fucking dope.
Doing good.
I would love to hear you critique songs that you'd be like, okay, this has radio potential. This doesn't, blah, blah, blah. You also give them like a marketing plan that
Well,
goes.
sometimes, you know, like if it's a mix that's missing, I tell them it's a mix. If it's a songwriting thing, I tell them how to tweak it. If I hear a vocalist that's not using the mic right, I tell them how to do it, you know, all of that. And now what's kind of funny about it is it's kind of I think, evolving into kind of like my Monday music meetings at Power 106. There's like established artists now that are saying, look, I want to just send you my song. Can you just play it on your stream?
You know what's so funny? No one does that. No one doesn't understand Radio Day. Can you explain to people what that used to be back in the day? And does it still happen now? I know about it, but can you explain it?
Well, I don't know exactly what incarnation it is today, but back in the day, what would happen is like either sometimes it was on Mondays, sometimes it was on Fridays, and I would literally sit in my office and all of the record companies would have scheduled time, or we would just say first come, first served. They'd come in and they'd play the records and then talk about, the records that they had playing, like, well, how's this spinning, how's this researching, and then take it back to the record company as their data. Right. Do you know what I'm saying? So that was one way to do it. And then we had independence. A funny story is Chase Infinite, who's the manager of the ASAP Mob now. He was an independent promoter for, I think it was Raucous back in the day. Mm-hmm. And it was my first day at Power, and my first day landed on a record day. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like I got anything done. I just sat and talked to record companies all day. And he was the last one. And he came in, and I was like, bro, at this point, I need a blunt and some Boone's Farms. Or I'm not listening to nothing. He's like, all right, nice meeting you. And he leaves. And I'm like, oh, dude, I didn't mean it like that, whatever. Chase showed back up. He went across the street to the freaking liquor store, came back with a brown bag with Boone's Farm in it, and said, where can we smoke this? Oh, and I'm like, let's go down to P4. And we drank the Boone's Farm and smoked the blunt and then went back up and listened to the records. That's dope. I think I added all of them.
That's dope.
But Chase is doing great now. He's got a coffee shop now. I forgot the name, but check it out. Like, he's got a coffee shop, I think in Hollywood or Burbank or something like that. And then he's also, the ASAP Mob. But he was also in Self Scientific. He had a lot of, great rapper in his own right, but just a, great guy. Bigga B, who was, I think his cousin, his uncle, was one of the first promo reps to show me around LA. Rest in peace. He passed away, but.
I know you said you don't know now. So there are no more radio days.
I don't know. I'll have to check into that. But now with analytics and data and all this and the way that the record companies are, the way that record companies and radio interface now is kind of like radio's the bitch. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, here, this is what I want you to play. Right. You know what I mean? No one's doing anything different. You know what I mean? They're just kind of status quoing it. So
if they got rid of Radio Day, that sucks for radio. That sucks for music, period.
Well, but did you see the new deal with TikTok and iHeart?
No, what's the new deal?
Okay, so one of the things that I was talking about on this podcast not that long ago was that at some point, radio and social media will collide. Guess what happened?
They collided. TikTok now has an iHeart collaboration, where basically the stuff that goes viral on TikTok can also be played in major market radio. Oh. So remember what I was saying is now they're finally getting, there's something interesting that happened that we haven't talked about, is during the Obama years, there were subsidies for internet. You know what I mean? So people could afford internet. Now, if you make less than $50,000 in low-income areas and rural areas, the internet is as low as 17% affordability. Oh, wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
People say they cannot afford internet. And then if you're driving in between these cities, so radio is still a big key.
Right.
Social media is starting to realize the one thing that they don't have is organic reach at radio. So TikTok and iHeart, they were doing XM, and XM is satellite. Right. You're not getting a kick out of that. You're fighting for the same market share. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So doing it with iHeart gives them incubation. You can incubate on social media, get things going, get things viral, then work it to radio. Then you have a clean Taco Bell taco line.
So naturally, if you have a song that's naturally doing well on TikTok, it will be moved to that station.
Basically.
And they'll see how it does. And then possibly it can jump from there.
That's the new record rep. That's your new Monday records. Is they incubate it on TikTok, which is actually backwards, but they'll get it at some point. You start working it that way when they need to realize that, look, the inner cities and the culture is what incubates movement. It's not the other way around. And what happens is right now the internet is trying to dictate what you like. You know, back in the day when we played like Ain't No Fun on the radio, it's because it was passionate with our core audience. It came from the street. We mirrored what our audience liked. Now they're trying to algorithmically tell you what you like, and it's backwards.
Gotcha.
When you need to incubate, create a movement, and then pay it off with the algorithm. So it's ass backwards.
It's interesting. Yeah, TikTok is doing some interesting stuff because they also partnered up with Paramount because they're allowing creators to check, like, you know.
There's a lot of censorship going on now, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's start with that. But Paramount won the war against Netflix buying Warner's. How you feel about that?
Well, they won the war with CNN, too.
So CNN is going away?
No, CNN is going to Paramount. Larry Eliason is now the head of CNN. So CNN is not going to be an opposing voice anymore. It's becoming ABC. So the slow state-controlled media is now TikTok, all of the above. I mean, look at all the news organizations that are basically owned by the Republican Party.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. And anything that's not, I mean, look at what happened even at the Pentagon. If you're not reporting something that's approved by the Pentagon, then you don't have access anymore to the Pentagon. You're not allowed to talk to generals. You're not allowed to have sources. You're not allowed to have any of that. I mean, now it's like the pillow guy, Mike, whatever his name is, that's a credible news source within the Department of Defense. Like, come on, bro.
So things are not looking good.
No, it's never, you know, as far as media goes, I've never seen a more Chinese democracy.
Wow.
You know what I mean? I've never seen Russian state media domestically. We're in a very bad time in America. And if cats don't wake up soon, I mean, you know, you look at this war in Iran, I mean, the Epstein Files are starting to come out, and almost to the day, you have these explosions go off halfway across the world. Every time a Republican president goes into office, you get a war in the Middle East, you get tax breaks for the rich, and you try to cut health care. And you get more deficit. You know, I mean, Trump has been in the presidency 2% of the time and accounts for what percentage of the debt? I don't know the numbers, but I heard it was like 40% of the debt is, you know, I mean, it's, come on.
So how you feel about the Epstein Files? Like, because we don't know what's real. Even to this day, I don't know. I don't know what's real.
When I was on Bootleg Kev, I said, you know, they're trying to bring along the Messiah, you know, all of this kind of stuff. And I mean, I took an ass whooping. What did Hegseth just say up on the podium? They're trying to cause Armageddon, bring along the freaking, what's it called? Look, this is all, it's all played out. It's all biblical. They're trying to start the Holy War. And it's freaking, we're to the point where if Americans don't wake up, we're going to have a real problem.
Well, I think we're going to have a problem because
we already have the problem.
They're already, I mean, for the first time in a long, at least for me, the first time ever, I heard that basically California was in jeopardy.
You're talking about the third, fourth largest economy in the world. It's
was
its
in
own
jeopardy
freaking
of being bombed by drones.
But see that, look, that's propaganda. That's straight up propaganda.
Okay, and
you know, they already said, "Oh, we made a mistake on that one."
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they look.
I never heard the mistake part. All I heard was it's happening.
Nah, the FBI got some intel months ago, and then it was a delayed drip time to the Epstein Files. So to answer your question about the Epstein Files, I think there's a lot of guilty people. And the fact that Pam Bondi did what she did yesterday, where, she went into the closed door Senate meeting with no cameras, no whatever, and just said, hey, I'm not going to give you shit. I mean, the fact that I
don't even know how she sleeps at night.
Dude, I've seen some of the pictures unredacted that were in the files. Do you know what I'm saying? Like nothing, unredacted that had kids or anything, but just some of the people. Do you know what I'm saying? That were associated to it. And it's not just Bill Gates. We're talking about, presidents and prime ministers and, rich people and all of this. And the more you read into the files, you start seeing more names and you start to realize that the farther you go up the pyramid, the smaller the freaking crew. You know what I mean? JP Morgan, BlackRock, it's all interconnected. It is the Clintons. It is all of this. It may not be that thing, but it's all part of the control. It's crazy, man.
And how do you feel about Bill Clinton interview?
Dude, I thought that was epic. That Bill and Hillary just said, fuck it, let's go. You know what I mean? Like, let's do it on camera. But you see what they did is they said, let's do it on camera. Let's do it in front of everybody. And they said, no, we want to tape it, because what they wanted to do was when they knew they weren't going to get anything out of him, because he's not the one in the files. Yeah, he was on the plane, but not during the time when it was cracking off.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And the funny
thing, that Bill wasn't.
Bill wasn't, no.
Okay.
I mean, what you're seeing is Trump and Epstein were friends. They were in partnership in these modeling companies. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I'm saying? They were in the same circles, the same business, the same people. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Where like Epstein would donate to the Clinton Foundation and give his jet so they could go to Darfur or whatever it is and do charity work and have that association and have political influence. But he was partying with Trump. Do you know what I mean? There's your work life, then there's party life.
Right.
Yeah, he went to the White House and dealt with politics and did all of that. That was his day job, deal with finance and all of that kind of stuff. And that's who he was associated with there. But when the lights go out and the hotel party started, it was at Mar-a-Lago. You know what I mean? Like, come on, bro.
And then how'd you feel about Hillary's interview?
Well, I thought it was interesting up until it got to that frazzle drip stuff.
Ooh, she didn't want no part of that.
She just shut it down and whatever. But that also tells me that this elite whatever thing that's going on is, and everybody's protecting everybody at this point. And they're pointing fingers, but you also saw what Donald Trump did with Clinton. After calling him an SA guy and what he did at that debate and have all of his accusers lined up, now he thinks he's a great guy? Yeah. And you also have to remember, now the Republican Party is sitting there going, it was the Democrats that funded Epstein and all of this. Trump was a Democrat during the time. Do you know what I'm saying? So whether it's related or not, and like the new thing with this 12-year-old girl and the Sasha Riley stuff and the, it's just, it's messy. And Pam Bondi, like you said, I don't know how the woman could sleep at night, and especially because, on the internet, they have the blacked out photos of some of the pictures that she had to look through and some of the things that she said, even when she was in that undercover meeting where she said, oh, yeah, there's millions of movies and pictures and all of this. You sat through that?
Yeah.
And you still are covering up? That tells me that she's involved.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, to be that blind, you have to have some complicity in it. Do you know what I mean? And from what I'm hearing is Pam Bondi is Trump's Ghislaine Maxwell. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, from the old days. And look, politics has always been... Do you ever see the movie House of Cards or the TV show House of Cards?
Yeah.
It's really like that. It's favors and leverage. That's all politics is. You know, it's drugs, it's money, it's murder. It's, you know, the CIA was running coke, they ran Contra. You know, it doesn't matter what era you're in. You know, and right now, look, history never changes. With what's going on with Donald Trump, it's Ronald Reagan. Somebody else is running the show and homie's drooling on himself. What are you talking about?
Do you remember the image where Bill was looking at the pictures and it seemed like
he was reliving old times?
Yeah.
You're talking, but look, is it that far-fetched? The guy got busted and impeached for getting a blowjob in the White House by an intern.
Yeah.
Last name Lewinsky.
Yeah.
But think about leverage at that time. What was going on geopolitically?
Right.
He was trying to do the Arafat and Sharon. He was trying to bring Israel and the Palestinians together. He got a deal. He got punished. You got a humiliation ritual with the.
So we're saying that because I've seen a couple pictures of, like, you know, Bill Clinton in a jacuzzi, you know, it seemed like...
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, dude, the one picture of the girl massaging his shoulders was in an airport. Do you know what I'm saying? You're making it look like something to divert from another thing. You know, there's nothing in those files that they've released, and they would have released that first, is that it's all Democrat smut. Here's Bill Clinton getting accused by a 12-year-old in an FBI letter. You're not seeing those. And the other thing is, look, Pam Bondi's in total control of this. Kash Patel's in total control of this. All these guys are in control, but yet these memos are kind of leaking out. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, there's a fight going on that we don't see. There are some good guys in there that are like, oh, you don't believe it? And this leaks out. You know what I mean? Then gets pulled back. You notice that? Something will get leaked out and then something will get pulled back.
Right.
You know, there probably are some white hats in there that are doing that, or they're leveraging. You know what I mean? They're putting this out. You better do this or else whoop. You know what I mean? Like,
Does
crazy
this
times.
die with Trump? Like, if, let's say Trump, for whatever reason, gets a heart attack tomorrow. Does all this craziness end with him and people are going to snap back into it? Or has the seed already been sown and we're going to keep going down this?
You know, who knows? But, I mean, his health is obviously declining. I mean, come on. He called Newsom the president the other day.
That was wild.
You know what I mean? Today, with Japan, he was like, yeah, you guys like surprises? Tell them about Pearl Harbor. To the freaking prime minister of freaking Japan.
Oh, God.
You know, I mean, how many times is this guy going to put his foot in his mouth? You know, half the time he doesn't know. I mean, they bombed Qatar. Qatar just gave him a jet. Great $400 million bribe. You just blew up our oil. And the Iran thing, like, dude, how much could you have miscalculated that one? I mean, they thought, look, we're going to do exactly what we did back a couple months ago. We're going to drop a couple bombs. They're going to say, oh, no, please stop. We'll negotiate. But the problem is Iran said, look, we'll give you all of our nuclear material. The day that they said we'll bomb, they agreed to everything. And they said, well, we better hurry up and bomb you. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, This is that biblical stuff that they want the Muslims and the Christians to go at it so that they can burn the red heifer and bring along the Antichrist.
Now, is Israel feeling it? Because I'm not sure.
Dude, have you seen some of the pictures from Israel?
Now, is it true that they're saying if you live in Israel and you show damage or, you know, what's happening to Israel, then you're facing 5 years in jail?
Bro, Israel is one of the most controlled states. You're not even allowed to take a DNA test. Ancestry.com is banned in Israel.
I believe it.
You know, there's so much stuff going on with Israel that's just like Jesus Christ. I mean, other than the fact they killed Jesus Christ. But what I'm saying is the, like, for instance, the IDF is on our Veterans Affairs. Look at how many trillions of dollars since the 60s we have given. We could have solved world hunger. We could have solved, I mean.
Now, how does America, at least I heard the number, and maybe you can confirm the number, I heard America gives Israel $18 billion a year. What is that for?
They have state-sponsored health care.
But why are we concerned with them and their health care?
Because that's the way they've rigged it. Since 1960, when JFK took a bullet in the head and someone said, if anybody goes against the grain, this is what we'll do to you in public. Something has happened to America. It's been infiltrated. And I'm not saying it's by Israel. I'm just saying that something else came in. And it was called the super PAC. The corporations and the lobbies have taken over this country and control how this is governed. And a powerful lobby is Israel, AIPAC. You notice how, like, for instance, Ted Cruz the other day, when they ask him, is it America first or is it Israel first? Israel first. What are you talking about? You have congressmen showing up to Congress in their IDF uniform. You have congressmen that have dual citizenships with Israel. If you had a dual citizenship with any other country in the world, they wouldn't let you into Congress.
Right.
But it's okay with Israel. You got pedophiles that'll be convicted in Las Vegas and get a free ticket home. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not stacked fairly, and how they've done it is they've infiltrated Congress with their people. You know, the super PAC and spending the money that they do. Go look up how much AIPAC spends on electing leaders. You know, you had Lindsey Graham going to talk to Netanyahu about a strategy of how to get Trump into the war. Bro, that's treason. You had Netanyahu bypass the White House, go straight to Congress and speak to a joint session of Congress.
That's crazy.
You tell me another prime minister in the world that can walk into our Congress chamber and deliver a speech to our lawmakers. Like he's the president of the United States and give a State of the Union of his own.
Now, he's still alive. Those are just rumors.
Yeah, he's alive.
That's a shame.
When you say who's alive?
Netanyahu.
There was rumors that...
Yeah, there were rumors. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I mean, and with all of this, we're seeing a new era in warfare. You know, this AI stuff, you don't know what to believe. You don't know who's doing what. You don't know. I mean, it's a confusion tactic. And now that fewer people own all of these media platforms, you got to think, where's it coming from? And what is it for? The Epstein Files are coming out. You're finding out how dirty all the politicians are, but there's so much disinformation that you're distracted from what they actually say. The files actually say that what we've known, Trump is a 34-time convicted felon who has settled with sexual assault cases throughout his life. The shoe fits. It's probably a shoe. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
so, okay, since everyone always talks about the president's competency, what's going on with that?
Dude, the president obviously has dementia. Look at it like this.
But how can they allow that? We're in wartime.
Because
we're in wartime. How are we allowing this guy to supposedly be our leader if he's not coherent?
Go back to Reagan. Bush was running the White House, and a group of people were running the White House. It's not something new. You know, there was presidents that had strokes and their wife were signing their names. Go back to, what was it, Hamilton or Franklin or one of them?
Can they at least take the microphone away from me?
No, dude, look at it like this. There is an agenda. What was it, 2025, Project 2025 or whatever it was, that's being executed. And there's a group of people doing it. Trump is just the figurehead. Do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He's just the puppet. So he's being paid, he's being manipulated into doing a job. So it doesn't matter whether he's sitting there or not, the machine is doing what the machine is doing. He's just a figurehead. So as long as he is breathing, he's the poster child for the movement. And there's some very racist people in this country that he appeals to, that will let anything, including kids, slide as long as you're getting rid of the brown people. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and it's crazy. You know, and this is it's basically the Civil War. It's red states against blue states. It's education against uneducated. You know, it's Muslim against Christian.
Is there hope?
There's hope in the people. You know, there's hope in people believing in humanity and coming together and connecting with each other. But the longer we sit on these things, the more we are divided. And that's exactly where they want us, is divided and debating each other on his competency and the Epstein Files and is Netanyahu dead or alive and all of these things so they can continue to drop the bombs and keep the machine working. You know, when Eisenhower was coming out of office and Kennedy was taking on, he gave a speech. He said, look out for my homeboys. He said, look out for the military industrial. And when a 5-star general gets up there and says, watch out for my guys, you know you got a problem. And now it's just manifested. You know, the military-industrial complex has gotten so big that now, look, even tech is starting to be assimilated into the government. You know, you have the CTOs of Google and Meta and all of these things that now have ranks in the military. Why? You know, the reason why bombs were dropped on that school in Iran is because they were AI. The AI didn't know. Nobody double-checked anymore. We're using Anthropic to drop bombs. And that's why China just came out and said, bro, you're using AI for missile targeting. There's no humanity in it. So the school in Iran was a former military base. Okay?
Got you.
They closed part of it, fenced it off, and made it an all-girls school. Well, the AI didn't know that. Didn't double-check it. You know, we used to have human reconnaissance that would double-check every target to make sure that, yeah, that's what we can bomb. We've done it twice now.
Who's winning?
I think Iran is winning because they've lasted this long. They thought that they would do what they did the last time around.
Right.
You bomb them a couple times into submission, they'll wave the white flag and say, oh no, big American power, Israeli power, da-da-da-da-da. And they thought the people would revolt against the Ayatollah. Do you see what I'm saying? But it's like, look, you know, when two gangs are fighting and a third party comes into it, the two gangs turn on the third party, then go back to doing what they're doing. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, yeah, they may have a lot of internal struggle, but now you're dropping bombs on kids. What does that do? That unifies them. Because at the end of the day, they're all Muslim.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying? And you take Khomeini, for instance, who wanted to die a martyr. You know what I mean? He didn't go underground. He sat in his living room. When they bombed him, you just bombed their religious leader. If someone bombed Donald Trump in the White House, you think MAGA's just going to let that slide?
Right.
Do you think America would forget their differences between MAGA and, you know, if some foreign entity came in and bombed us? No, we'd put that shit aside for a second. Might fight amongst each other, but I promise you this. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what we're seeing happen. And they thought they could just drop a bunch of bombs. These guys have old tanks, rusty tanks, no big bombs, and they're playing the long game. We spend $4 million, $5 million on 2 interceptor missiles to take down one $50,000, $20,000 drone. Who's going to run out of artillery faster?
Right.
The more expensive stuff that we've got to go back to Northrop Grumman and Raytheon and all of those kind of things. Are we going to have $20,000? They've got hundreds of thousands of them.
Now, I heard China's is helping Iran. Is that true?
Well, I don't know the logistics of Russia and China's involvement.
Okay.
But I know that for a while there, China's the only country whose oil was getting through the strait.
Right.
You know what I mean? I know that a bunch of ships are looking at Taiwan right now. thinking, while you guys are over here, maybe we should just go do this Taiwan hale real quick. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you got to think of the whole thing geopolitically. Who does all of this benefit? You know what I mean? Like, you know, the fact that the Saudis are like, yeah, go take out, you know, that. And then when a missile ends up in their backyard, you know, it's like, oh, wait a minute. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't think that Iran would be able to put up this kind of fight.
So what kind of damage is Israel taking right now?
Well, that's on a lot of levels. What kind of damage? I mean, one, parts of Israel looks like Palestine right now.
That's what I heard.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, the question of, just think about this for a second. The fact that people were questioning whether Netanyahu was dead, and the fact that Iran would even have the power to even being a question. Do you know what I'm saying? Everybody always said Iran wanted to create this nuclear weapon because they were defenseless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like in Saudi Arabia, they were saying they're protected by the United States. They have F-15s, F-16s, F-35s. They have the dome. They have all of this stuff. No missile. The first day they blew up the base and put one right in the middle of the Abu Dhabi. You know what I mean? Like, or wherever it was, Dubai. You know what I'm saying? It's much worse for Israel right now, even from a propaganda standpoint, is how did we get here?
And why did Russia give Cuba some oil or gas?
Well, the thing with Cuba right now is really interesting because we've done this blockade. We've been trying to starve them out for God knows how long. And we're back to the Cuban Missile Crisis, basically, with them, is, you know, what's happened in Cuba with just the sanctions and all of that and the starving of the people and the technology and all of this, they've been so good and resilient to last this long. But then cutting off the oil and all of that, Russia's been an ally for Cuba for a long time.
Right.
So now that they're powerless, they're bringing oil in and firing up the generators, you know, and Russia is an ally. So, I mean, it's the same thing like with Iran. You don't know how much they're involved. You know, Cuba could have nuclear missiles sitting in it, and we just not know it. And especially now, as inept as some of our officials are, we don't know what they have. Look at Iran right now. We didn't know that they had hypersonic missiles. They just knocked an F-35 out of the sky today. The first time in American history that the United States' #1 warplane, the most expensive one in the fleet, got knocked out of the sky today with a hypersonic missile that we didn't know they had.
So if you have to put going back to Cold War days, but today, if you had to put a color of how close we are to nuclear war, where would you put it at?
You know how it's like in the yellow with a little bit of red in it?
Yeah.
That's about where we're at. We've never been closer. We've never been closer. I mean, Iran said, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Iran said they have 30 days for the United States and Israel to get out of the Middle East as a whole, or they would deliver a nuclear weapon.
Oh, shoot.
Or something like it. Now, if you want to ask about China's involvement, there's been a lot of equivalent to the C-130 landing in Iran. What do you think they've been delivering? They didn't have a hypersonic missile. That came from Russia. Do you know what I'm saying? So regardless of whether you want to call it World War III or not, Russia's supplying intel, somebody's supplying weapons, oil's going over here. Seems like we're pretty damn close, just the nukes haven't been pulled out yet. And the rumor has it that, I saw Maverick the other day on one of the podcasts, and I was like, damn, how he was talking about 2026 and that being something the year. And then there was another guy that was saying when the red star goes on top of the Sphinx and all of this kind of stuff, and it's Easter Sunday of this year. Well, we're creeping up on Easter. That's the resurrection day. What I personally, in my conspiratorial Project Blue Book mind, am thinking is, look, they had that, what was it? It wasn't Project Blue, it was Bluebeam. Project Bluebeam, where they said that they were going to fake an alien invasion.
Right.
And, all of this, and the real technology was about to come out. And you would think it's a UFO invasion and all of this kind of stuff, and that's how they would unite the world and, all of this. I think what they're going to do, or what they could do with all of this technology, is bring back the Messiah. I mean, if everything is radio frequencies, they can put thoughts in your head. You know what I'm saying? Like you're hearing it in your head. And I think that's what they're going to do with Bluebeam. It's not going to be alien. They're going to bring back the Messiah. Because look at them dripping that into our freaking consciousness right now. Pete Hegseth just caught hell from the freaking military because the military was all given memos saying we're doing this as a holy war to bring back the Messiah. And that's the military. I mean, think about that for a second. Think about what we're talking about here. Memos were sent to the United States military from the Secretary of Defense, War, whatever you want to call it, that we're doing this to bring back the Messiah. And it's ordained by God. Where is this going? Because after calling us conspiracy theorists and all of this kind of stuff about UFOs and all this stuff, like 5 years ago, 6 months ago, if you told me that the Secretary of War, Secretary of Defense was going to say that we are going into a war with Iran to bring along the Antichrist, and that Lindsey Graham would be saying that it's Israel first, and I wouldn't have believed you. I would say you're crazy. And look at where we're at.
I'm a cynical man. It'll be crazy. They bring out the Antichrist.
Yeah, that'll be wild.
But think about it. I mean, look at the technology that they haven't shown us. Think about look, like my grandpa said, if you want to know, they're 50 years ahead. That's how they stay ahead of the curve. So that means that my grandpa in 1974 was using one of these. Okay? Was using what is the equivalent of the iPhone. If they were coming up with Star Trek and we had everything that's in Star Trek today, what do they have 50 years from now?
Yeah.
A way to beam something straight into your head and make a
teleport.
Yo, if you were, okay, let me ask you a question. If you're in the desert in Egyptian times and you saw an F-15 fly over, what would you say it was?
Dark magic.
Or an alien.
Yeah.
They put them in the sand, in the hieroglyphs and stuff. Right. Some other stuff was going on. History repeats itself. I don't think this is anything different than the World War I, World War II, World War III, Atlantis, whatever it is.
I honestly do believe that we've had civilization as advanced as where we are today, and they just imploded, and then it restarted. Maybe the technology was a little bit different.
Well, it wasn't that long ago. The Depression, the stock market crash. Look, we are so in debt. It's going to have to break sooner or later. They ain't going to just pay it back. You ain't just going to balance the budget at this point. You're trillions of dollars in debt, and how are you ever going to repay it? There's no way. So they have to crash the system somehow.
That's why with BlackRock, when they... What was the shit that BlackRock did recently?
The tokenizing and shit?
Yeah, that you couldn't take money out.
Oh, yeah. Well, they stopped you from turning in their shares. You talking about when they wouldn't let you sell the shares of their company?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'd never seen that one. I was like, wow. Just stop.
Well, but you got to think of it. I mean, liquidity. You're talking about, man. The thing with Epstein and the Bitcoin thing is what gets me. Finding out like he was one of the head investors in Bitcoin. And I mean, it's crazy. All right there. You know, I mean,
Yeah, that was crazy.
You know, this money thing is what is really interesting to me. It's like the value of a dollar, the value of, you know, all of this kind of stuff and what's happened to it now with the oil and Brexit and all of this stuff. It just, you know, I mean, think of it like this. Look, say if Iran and Israel said, okay, you go your way, now we'll go our way, take away the sanctions. And all of that oil that Iran has goes on the market, okay? Think what's going to happen to oil prices.
Right.
It goes down to $30 a barrel. Louisiana shale, the Louisiana processors and all of that, well, their break-even point is $60 a barrel. What would happen to the United States oil economy if the Iranian oil goes on the market? You're going to bankrupt the oil industry.
Yeah.
So either way, something's going to happen soon. And what is the only way that they can... It's all Scotch tape right now. We're so in debt and there's so much going on that...
You pump gas today?
$8.
It ain't $8.
Some places.
$8?
By my house, which is usually cheaper, is at 5.3.
Dude,
have
I
to go
saw
over there.
$8 in Hollywood. I saw $8.16 in Hollywood.
Yeah. Sounds scary. Sounds like I'm gonna start walking home.
You should buy a horse.
My treads ain't thick enough.
Yeah, get a horse for sure.
Well, let's talk about Live Nation. So
Antitrust?
yeah, settlements are going
Well,
out.
some settlements are going out, but there's like 30 states that are like, not so fast. So there's like 30 states that are still not accepting the settlement. So the case is going on. I mean, you know, the funny thing is there were some emails going back and forth between Live Nation employees that were like, yeah, watch, we're catching these fools. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. Parking, VIP parking, $250, the fees, all of this. Come on, man. It's a racket. They have like 80-something, 90-something% of all the venues, everything. Come on, bro.
So maybe you can explain the lawsuit itself to our listeners.
Well, it's an antitrust lawsuit. You know, Ticketmaster has, you know, God, Ticketmaster and Live Nation together, the ticketing
Monopolize the
company
market.
and the promotion company, they own the venues. If you're a big artist and you don't use their promotion company, you can't go into their venues. They block out the dates in the venues 2 years ahead of time without even a tour to put through it, so that, you know, they just have the dates, then they can just route their tours whenever. So it's just a scheduling thing, you know, that they cover it with. Dude, come on. It's a monopoly.
Yeah, for sure.
And not just that, but, you know, they block it so that there's no outside competition with promoters. Like, it's hard. There's no way a promoter can go book the Staples Center. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it's
How did it get this far, though? Because allegedly there's not supposed to be a monopoly within the United States. How did they get this far?
how did Microsoft get that far? How did Google get that far? You know, you lobby, you pay the right politicians, and they look the other way. This settlement, I mean, the Paramount thing, you know, I mean, when it started to go towards the Netflix route, all of a sudden you had the President of the United States calling out board members of Netflix and pushing for Eliason. You had the Secretary of Defense up there saying Eliason can't buy it fast enough and siding with that. When you have the government on your side, you get away with it. And the DOJ is let half the freaking charges slide. You know what I mean? Like, when you have money, you have power to lobby. When you lobby, then you have Congress. When you have Congress, then you're not prosecuted. A perfect example is the DOJ, Pam Bondi, and Donald Trump. Do you know what I'm saying? When you have the DOJ in your pocket, then some people are getting prosecuted. You know, I mean, people like, you know, Mueller and all of those kind of stuff. You'll put grand juries together and go after Mueller, but you won't go after a pedophile?
Yeah.
The Dow to 50 thou. You know, I mean, why are we talking about pedophiles when the Dow's doing so good? You know what that's saying? that's saying if the economy is good and the billionaires are happy, let them have the damn kids.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It's so sick.
Yeah, I remember. You know who Louis C.K. is?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he runs his own, stand up and all that stuff. And he was sick of Ticketmaster taking a percentage. So he basically is like, nah, I'm going to do this by myself. Sell tickets on my own website and all that stuff. He had to find venues that were not attached to Live Nation and Ticketmaster.
Oh, wow.
Well, okay, look at like the Ye situation, for instance, right? You're Ye. You said some stuff about some people don't like you, whatever. He could not book a venue in the United States.
Wow.
How is that? You have to have a monopoly to be able to do that.
And he apologized, and he's coming to SoFi.
Twice.
Yeah, I saw the interview with him and Big Boy.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
I love Big Boy.
Yeah, for sure. Now, there is a ongoing situation. Well, I guess it's kind of towards the end now. Afro Man.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Hey,
so
that was
anyways,
great.
So Afro Man is sitting there chilling in his house. They kick in the door looking for weed and money or something like that.
Right.
They confiscate money. $400 is missing. They're flicking off the camera. They're trying to make an example of him. And he does what artists do. He goes and makes a song about it, makes a video and shoots some content and talks about, public officials and freedom of speech stuff. And they sue him for defamation. And he wins.
Hey, wait, man. Did you
Sometimes the system works right.
Hey, did you see the girl crying on the stage?
Yeah, crying. I'm like,
Oh,
you
man.
weren't doing that when you were flicking off the camera. But see, I love Afro Man for wearing red, white, and blue and making it a man,
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Like I said, sometimes the system works.
It was crazy because he was killing the judge the whole time.
Well, and another thing that's going through the Supreme Court right now, Fat Joe, a bunch of other people have written to the Supreme Court because there's a case being heard by the Supreme Court right now over rap lyrics in sentencing. There was a guy in Texas that was convicted of murder, and then during the sentencing hearing, they presented all of his rap lyrics. And he caught a death penalty off of it. So they were using the rap lyrics in sentencing to
that's not fair.
Get him the death penalty. So now in the Supreme Court, they're talking about rap lyrics and when you can use words to convict, that's not freedom of speech. So that's why the Afro Man thing is so important. That's why the Supreme Court thing is so important. What we're dealing with right now in America is not freedom of the press. It's not freedom of speech with all of these consolidations and ABC having to pay $1 billion to Donald Trump for editing a freaking thing or whatever. I mean, this media back in the day, it was independent. And now it's just all propaganda.
It's interesting because I remember watching the movie from President's Men.
Yeah.
And it was like the whole movie is about the investigation just to get like an article out. Now anybody with a goddamn computer can release shit.
Did you see Wag the Dog?
Yeah, I saw Wag the Dog.
Here we are. I was saying the other day, do you think that we're living in a scripted movie?
I hope not.
Because, if you stop and think about it, like going back to the Kennedy assassination, when Kennedy got shot, there was a guy in the famous photo when Lyndon Johnson's being sworn in. That's Jack Valente in the corner, leaned up against the window.
Right.
The president of the Motion Picture and Television Association in America. And he was living in the Lincoln bedroom at that time. And he was controlling the narrative. And he was basically the de facto press secretary. And then he goes to be the head of the motion picture. You know what I mean? And then you got what's his name? The guy who did all of the space movies that they say did the...
Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah, Kubrick, who did the moon landing. And you got, all of these things with Hollywood and Grandpa used to say Hollywood is just the film department of the CIA. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, all of the stuff that we see, it's the same script writers, it's the same staging people, the rallies or the concerts, the messaging, the social media. I mean, all of this stuff, is it one big show?
Have you heard the theory about Eyes Wide Shut?
Which theory? I've heard a lot of theories about that one.
Yeah, there's
Kubrick
one of them
killed?
that he had a worse version out there, and that's why they killed him.
Well, Kubrick, the original edit was shown to the Motion Picture Association of America and some of the studio execs, and they said, look, you need to cut out several of these scenes. And he was like, hell no, I'm not doing it. And then he ends up dead. Yeah, I get it. But how much in that movie now makes sense sitting next to the Epstein Files?
A lot.
Now, that's why I was saying, are we living in a scripted reality? Because it seems like a movie comes out of what you're about to see, and then it happens.
Right.
Because right now, one of the big blockbusters that is going to come out this summer, if we make it to the summer, is Dune.
Oh.
And Dune 3 basically is about the Holy War.
Damn.
Well, and here's another one.
Damn.
Do you know that the White House just parked alien.gov? And Disclosure by Steven Spielberg is coming out this summer. And you got the Easter with the star that's coming above the pyramid and all this stuff. Dude, the aliens are coming.
So, but when you mention Wag the Dog, could it be the Iran war is actually not happening?
I mean, look, there's too many people involved, and there's too many people saying that they've seen bombs for it to be fake. Do you know what I'm saying? But what is it for is the question. You know, the Epstein Files reached a fever pitch, and people were asking questions. The day that we bombed Iran, the searches for the Epstein Files went down 80%.
Damn.
And people were diverted to look to something else. It's all attention, bro. And, you know, and if you think about it, think about the timing and how often that happens. You know, $2 trillion go missing, then we have 9/11.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you can't just do that overnight. You have to be planning that for a minute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Come on, bro.
So JFK definitely not the mafia.
Look, I think that you had a perfect storm with JFK. I mean, you got to look at it like this. He was pissing off a lot of people. You know, the Bay of Pigs thing, he said, I'm going to destroy the CIA into 1,000 pieces. The mob helped him get elected. J. Edgar Hoover didn't want to work for Bobby. His first black Secret Service person that he put in there, all the other Secret Service guys, I'm not going to take an order from a black guy. Do you know what I'm saying? In the 60s.
And then he didn't want to give the nuclear,
And then you have Israel, where he said, not only am I going to make you guys register AIPAC, what was AIPAC, register as a foreign organization, but whoever the prime minister was, that first prime minister, he embarrassed him in front of everybody and then said, you guys got nuclear weapons? No. We're going to send inspectors for that. And then all of a sudden, you know what I mean? Like, come on, bro.
I mean, this is...
a friend of mine, let me just say this. A friend of mine was a fundraiser for Obama. And Obama made a lot of, close Guantanamo, all of this kind of stuff. And when he got elected, he said to him, he goes, yo, why didn't you do all the things that you said you were going to do? Guantanamo, And freaking Obama looked over at him and goes, did you see Kennedy? Do you know what they can do? I'm doing what I can.
You know what's crazy about the whole JFK thing? They really tried to sell us the magic bullet theory.
They did it in Charlie Kirk, too. History repeats itself every time. Look, if you take out all of the words, okay, of everything that we've seen, okay, and you just look at the scenes, JFK getting shot and, just all of the actions of America through its time. What does that look like?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Everything that's going on, you take all of the words out and you just look at the actions. A United States president in a drop top rolling through Dallas with a bullet in his head. How does that happen? You know, the thing with President Trump and the grazed ear, how does that happen? The flag just comes down at a perfect time. Not to mention, when the Secret Service has a threat to their main principle, they're moving everybody out. You're getting everybody out of the way. No, you're moving photographers perfectly in line of sight position to take a picture. You don't know whether they have a weapon. You don't know what just happened.
Right.
And the flag is being lowered right as all of this is going on.
Would have been tackled too.
That's a cue. With the thing with the Trump thing with the assassination, where I knew that was BS, was when they lowered the flag on cue. Because that's a cue. Do you know what I'm saying? That's not, oh, I just happened to be sitting there, heard a gunshot, saw everybody go crazy, and said, before I duck, I'm going to lower the flag. Do you know what I'm saying? That was like, when you hear the shot, lower the flag so we can get the shot, move them quick. You know what I mean? It's just too, that's why I say, is it staged?
Right.
Because everything looks like a show. And then you got pictures of Jeffrey Epstein walking around in Valhalla, or wherever it is. Do you know what I'm saying? No, it's like what they did with Hitler. It's like, you played your part, now retire to Argentina.
So you don't think Hitler
would retired in Argentina as an old man with kids?
Yeah, we've heard that.
You know, there's this, did you guys see the CHP guy that looks like Charlie Kirk? Witness Protection Program Charlie, they call him? No, I'm serious. There's a guy who looks exactly like Charlie Kirk. Same face, same mannerisms, same teeth, same smile. And people are viral clips of this guy just walking, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds crazy.
I mean, come on, bro.
So you think, is Epstein still alive?
Look, the 3 minutes that are missing from that videotape, right when the guy happened to fall asleep, right when the other guard happened to be Googling the latest on Jeffrey Epstein, there's just too many dominoes. Even Joe Rogan is saying, dude, this doesn't make sense.
Right.
You know, and that's another thing that's tripping me out. All of these MAGA influencers all of a sudden are going, this isn't what we voted for.
Oh, yeah. They're
Homie, this is what you voted for.
Yeah.
And if you didn't see it, then you ain't that bright.
Yeah. Joe is definitely turning.
No, but
He's
you know what I
changing his
respect
mind.
about him is at least he's learning publicly and he's not hiding from it.
He's definitely not hiding from it.
Because this one guy that was on there today talking about Epstein and his death, I saw the clip of that today and I was like, okay, he's digging in. He's not letting this guy squirm. Like he was like, he tried to commit suicide 3 days before or 10 days before, or whatever it was. He goes, no, there was a contract killer in his cell.
Right.
And how are you going to put an Italian 10-foot guy there was a contract killer in a cell with a pedo?
Right.
You don't think something's going to happen? And Jeffrey Epstein said, someone tried to kill me. I didn't kill myself. And if you look at the autopsy with the Epstein thing, come on. They said that he said in the emails that he got his prostate removed. The guy who they did the autopsy on had a prostate.
And you heard about the security guard too that was Googling Jeffrey
yeah,
Epstein?
just said.
Yeah, he just said.
Oh, yeah, my bad. I was trying to look for the Charlie Kirk
Oh, and now
doppelganger.
the security guard is going to testify in front of Congress. But not in front of Congress. This is another one of those where they're going to ask questions. He has to supply written answers to it.
That's odd.
So they're not even bringing them in front of Congress, in front of everybody. You notice how delicate they're being with this. They want to have the control.
And this is the guy that say he fell asleep?
Yes, but look, with everybody, they need leverage. So what they're doing is they're questioning people, and anything that doesn't work to their benefit, they're exiting from the story. So like with Clinton, it was something, he said that Trump never told him about anything bad with Epstein. So they said that he was completely exonerated because Clinton told him that Trump never told him anything about it. You know what I mean? That was the headline out of the whole time you had Clinton sitting there. I mean, all of this push of it's the Democrats, it was Clinton, you know, it's really the Democratic Party, it's this, it's that. And in that whole time that you had Clinton sitting there, that's all you had?
Could it be all that everybody's in cahoots with each other?
I think everybody in the political system did something to get into that system or took something or it's eyes wide shut. So everybody has something compromising on everybody. You know, it's funny. A couple weeks ago, I was talking to a friend of mine, and we were talking about my own thing in the business and just, you know, not being associated to certain things. And he goes, bro, you know, one of the reasons why you hit the ceiling was you wouldn't give them anything. And I'm like, what do you talk about? Anything to hold over your head, to control you. So when you're in control of that many minds, they're going to make sure that they have something to shut you up.
Did you ever feel that they try to set you up maybe with a woman or with...
Oh, dude, they tried several things. I remember I got set up for a humiliation thing one time. And I went to go see a powerful friend of mine at a major label. And he said, hey, let me take your picture doing this. And it was something, you know, that just wasn't... It was totally out of character for me. Let's just say that. And it had to be with something that involved how do I word this nicely? Basically, it was something that would make me look a certain way. You know, it was kind of like wearing a skirt in a movie kind of thing. You know what I mean? And let me take this picture so that it could embarrass you somewhere down the line. And that's the humiliation ritual. I said no, that door shut. Never heard from him again. You know what I mean? Because I said no.
And you think he was plotting to get you?
Of course. Of course.
So if you do take that picture, then they'll take you to the moon?
He literally said, I will do this for you if you do this and let me have a picture of it.
Damn.
Did you have to have your shirt off during
No, but I had to do an act of something with something that looked a certain way.
So this is terrible.
I wish I could say it, but look, I'll tell you off, but it's just
right. So they don't mind you moving up the ladder as long as they have something that will make you agreeable with them.
Well, I mean, look at what's happened with Trump.
He's definitely agreeable.
He's definitely compromised. You know,
Sure.
But look at the Epstein Files. Look at the culture of the Epstein Files. It's getting people in compromising situations so that you can leverage them later. That's what the whole thing behind the Epstein Files is, right?
Yeah.
You think it's limited to the Epstein Files? That's the culture of that. Now think about it. If you have control of billions of dollars and could crash the entire economy, you don't think there's a group of people surrounding that person that has something on that person or a way to stop that person from crashing an economy? Look at how many lives, how many people that would affect in a chain reaction. Do you see what I'm saying? It's just not logical. Do you know what I'm saying? To give someone that much control to them. Gotcha. So when you're in charge of an economy, like the record business or something, and they can't control you and they're subservient and have to move to your every whim, and there's more of them than you, then they're going to find a way to Kanye you. You're not going to play at my venues unless you agree with my way of doing it.
Now, I've heard a couple of things that they make you sacrifice somebody you love. Any experiences with that?
I think that there is... Look, sacrificing is nothing new. They're sacrificing in the Bible. Do you know what I'm saying? And from what I understand of the Bible, there was a group of people that were banished and told not to do it anymore, and they kept doing it. Do you know what I'm saying? So sacrificing has been going on, whether it's South America, whether it's Israel, there's been sacrificing all. Do you think it just stopped?
Probably not.
And now you're seeing it. The Epstein Files, obviously it didn't stop. They were still doing it with kids. It's documented. And there's a group of people that feel that way. Look at Pam Bondi. She's obviously part of a clique, right?
Gotta be.
Do you know what I'm saying? Look at the Epstein Files. There was a group of people that were doing weird stuff, but they all thought the same. It's a cult. Now, there's different factions of that. You have the Masons that are one thing. You have an Illuminati thing that's another thing. You have the banking cabal that's another thing. You have the lawyers that are another thing. And they're all fighting for control.
Who's in control?
Do what?
Who's in control?
You know, that's something that I've struggled a lot with. Is as you go up the pyramid, there's the all-seeing eye. Who's the eye?
Right.
And that's where you've got to say, whatever it is God. Because obviously we are connected to something else.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're all part of some neural network because we're connected but not connected. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
We're all energy and we're all the same energy. We're consciousness. We share it. What is the top of the pyramid? That's the eternal question. Is what started it all? You know, the biggest question to me is not even that. It's what started everything from nothing.
I don't get because the Big Bang Theory to me.
That's tough for me.
No, but
It's
okay,
tough.
but take
That's
it back.
tough.
Wait. But what created the two particles that banged together?
Yeah,
There
that's
you go.
why it's tough for me. It's like,
What
okay,
came
but
first,
it's
the
nothing.
chicken or the egg? Like, if you really think of that saying, what came first, the chicken or the egg? It'll blow your mind if you really go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, who created the God that created us too?
Because if the egg came first, who made the egg? The chicken came first, who made the fucking chicken? Everything was just there, and you got to look at the earth. The earth is perfectly balanced and mathematical. The stars are exact geometry. There's a masterful craftsman somewhere that designed this whole shit.
Hey man, a thing that sells it to me is food. If you eat this green food that don't taste very good, it's good for your body. You taste this that is really tasty and all that stuff, then you deteriorate your body. That doesn't seem like it's a coincidence.
The one that gets me is the biomechanical suit that
what?
we're walking around in. A biomechanical suit that's perfectly acclimated to this atmosphere. That's just a walking battery. You're run by electricity,
Yeah.
but it's organic electricity that has consciousness embedded in it. Is the brain actually processing thing, or is it just an antenna receiving whatever it is? And what frequency is it on? Because once you crack the frequency, everything is frequency. You know, I asked my grandpa one time, I said, is there a cure for cancer? He said, everything's on a frequency. Just figure out what frequency the tumor is on and jam the freaking tumor with the frequency and it'll shrink.
They're doing that for health now.
Well, but that's what he was saying. So
Yeah.
everything is, if your brain is a frequency, everything is a frequency.
The problem with them discovering how to solve things is that there's another person over here making money off of it. And then what they usually do is be like, oh, give me $100 million for your research. And then they shelf it and they continue life as is. I don't know if
Well, let me ask you
I
a
don't know if
question.
man ever gets to a point where it says, forget that $1 trillion, forget that $100 million, and not take the money.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
If you're, say, Pfizer, okay, you spend $10 billion coming up with a cancer cure that you can take one time and you're cured of cancer.
Yeah.
How you gonna make your money back?
No, I totally get that.
The money is in the treatment, not the cure.
Absolutely.
And if they can
into-
make you sicker, then they can give you more.
But the problem with that is, so I think at some point, they're going to have to figure it out. Because if you ever look at other countries in the world that pay for your medical care, they move a little differently when it comes to having cures and solving issues because the government is paying for it. So there's a bigger issue there. In America, it's a little, privatized.
They just released a memo that came out of the CIA that said they had a cancer in 1940.
Yeah, they already knew it was a dewormer. Absolutely, totally true. And then did you see that? I think, is it Saudi Arabia or Dubai where they let the Chinese medical doctor release his cure for cancer and they can start taking it? Did you see that one?
Look at Dr. Sebi.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Sebi's case in New York. There's a perfect example. The judge said, you bring me
Right.
X patients with cancer. If you could cure them, I'll let you go.
Right. They said bring 9 people or something like that.
Yeah.
And he brought 77.
And he walked out.
He walked out. Yeah.
So if that doesn't, and think about that for a second. That happened in New York City.
Right.
And it never made the press. What does that tell you right there? Take the words out of it. Look at that action.
Right.
You cured 77 people of cancer in a court of law, in front of the law. The judge, he let you off the hook. You're dead and free. Free and dead. Come on, man.
Yeah.
On some lighter news, the music industry 2025 made 11.5 billion.
What?
Yeah.
And vinyl, which is really interesting, vinyl for the 19th year it just made $1 billion. Vinyl made $1 billion this year.
I did not know that.
The music industry is going back to ownership. People want ownership. They're sick of, look, if I don't pay my subscription, then I lose my music.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'd rather spend $8.99, $10.99 on the vinyl. At least I can keep the shit.
Albums are coming back.
Yeah.
CDs are coming back.
Tangibles are coming back.
There you go.
And that's what I love. The music industry, look, it's oversaturated. Streaming is just what it is. I mean, it's not going down. It's flat. The music business was actually on point with inflation. It didn't go up. It didn't go down. But you look at it like this. It's all market share now. So the record companies get their cut regardless off the subscription revenue. It's pro rata now. So it's just market share. If you get 23% of the streams, you get 23% of the money. That's just how it works. So it is what it is. But then you've got this whole creator economy, and you've got the tangibles and the vinyl and all of this other stuff that are starting to, and that's why you're seeing Universal buy up the vinyl companies, the what is it? Not Machine Head. I forgot the name of it. The company with the direct-to-fan stuff and the tchotchkes and all of that kind of stuff. You're seeing them get into that. Now Universal actually is in the hotel business and in the destination business, where they're going to have, cruises and hotel destinations, 5-star, where your favorite artist will do a show, come around and, fan experience stuff, like a Hard Rock on steroids.
The one thing I wanted to ask you, because
I didn't do it.
I know you didn't do it. How did you feel about Kanye's letter?
About Kanye's what?
Letter. It's a letter of apology.
Look, I have a lot of respect for Kanye because I think he is one of the most... How do I word this? I think Kanye is one of the greatest artists of all time. How do you stay relevant as long as he has? No one has stayed relevant and at that level of fame consistently longer than Kanye West. That being said, the letter, I think, was a beautifully crafted statement of whatever he had to say to appease whoever he was talking to or said he had to do it. There's no other way to describe it.
Right.
I think that there was an intervention that put him back on whatever medication because he's obviously not the same guy. You know, if you saw the Kanye documentary and saw how he was, you know, he had Adidas, he had Adidas, he had the Gap, he had,
Right.
I mean, he was
cooking.
the richest black man in America for about 30 seconds. Do you know what I'm saying? And then went on one of his rants and all of them backed out. And he backed out and, you know, whatever. But if you saw his demeanor then and you see his demeanor now.
Did they get him? Did they finally get him?
With mental health and with people like that, creative stuff like that, I don't want to be insensitive. Do you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I have ADHD. I'm dyslexic. I'm nuts. But I'm just saying, whatever they did to him is sad. Whatever they did to Britney is sad.
Yeah, Brittany,
But if you notice, like, look at every artist, whether it's Kanye, whether it's Mariah, whether it's Britney, whether it's Dave Chappelle, whether it's any of them, they always go through this mental health thing at some point. These extreme highs and these extreme lows that they do to these artists. It's not easy being an artist. You know, I mean, man. And especially like with the Ye thing, I mean, they squeeze it when they need it, and they have you apologize for it when it's done.
Did you get to meet Britney Spears before she
Oh yeah,
changed?
A friend of mine was one of the choreographers for Britney, and her and her mom were at the rehearsals. I think it was for "Oops, I Did It Again," and she was just the kindest, sweetest little small thing, and just little Southern sweetheart. Really, really kind. I loved her to death. She was great. Only met her the one time, her and her mom. And she was no security, no nothing, just her and her mom and the choreographer. Watched them rehearse for a minute, went home.
I heard you made a mixtape with Pam Anderson.
Oh. You know what's funny is Pamela Anderson sang backgrounds on Loverboy by Mariah Carey on Glitter.
That's funny.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
So Mariah and Pam became friends at one point, and Pam, I go to the studio to finish up the recording of Loverboy, and Mariah says Pam's coming by to do backgrounds, and I'm like, Pam is coming by to do backgrounds. She goes, Pamela Anderson. And now I'm a huge Baywatch fan. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I'm
here
like to see this.
I'm like, Pamela Anderson's coming by. Hell yeah. You know what I mean? So the next
All
thing you know,
day.
we're popping champagne, and she's like, okay, what do you want me to do? And she's like, yeah, go in the booth. Pam Anderson can sing.
Damn.
Yeah, and she's one of the smartest people I have ever met in my life. Yo, get this. So we're sitting there talking, and she goes, yeah, I got this new show, Stripperella, coming out, and, I'm not really feeling it, but I need to have 60 30-second promos. I need to have 30 60-second promos. I need this many mentions. I need this many da-da-da-da-da. And she just goes down promotionally what she has to accomplish. And she goes, got any ideas? And I said, well, why don't we do a mixtape that you're on? We'll put Stripperella artwork on it. We'll distribute the mixtape. And she goes, I need at least 5,000 of them. And I'm like, great. She goes, I'll pay for it. I'm like, no, we'll take care of it. But, da-da. And she goes, no, I have to do this. Like, you don't understand. And she goes, what about the radio? Can we do it with the radio? And I said, well, okay, we'll do it on the radio and give away the mixtape. And then I'll go to Ford, or I'll have the promotion department go to Ford, get us a car, and we'll give away Pam Anderson's Mustang, and then tie it all into one thing. Perfect. Do it. And I'm like, okay. So we did a mixtape together. She called me to her house. I'd come to the house and we'll tape it. Mm-hmm. And she was just, like, for instance, the Dumb Blonde thing.
Right.
It's a freaking act. Like, not only did she go through the entire promotional schedule of what she needed, but we're sitting there recording, and we were recording on her kitchen table. And she's like, oh, hold on, it's hot in here. Let me take my top off. And she wore a top where she could move it around to where it sounded like she took it off perfectly on the mic. And then she actually took it off.
Oh, this is
Because I was like, oh wow, like that's it. Like I looked at her like that. She's like, and you know, I was like, I mean, just amazing lady. Just, I mean, just.
How long did y'all do the mixtape?
But as a joke, you know, she was just being whatever.
I mean, I like those kind of jokes.
But then I know, and then but here's what you like. So here's what you like. So we're at the Loverboy video shoot, and it's Eminem and D12. It's Pamela Anderson and Mariah shooting the video, right? And she's over there trying to flirt with Eminem and all this shit. And Pamela Anderson comes over to me, and she's drunk as hell, and she goes, "Sign my boobs."
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, what? And she's like, here's a pin, sign my boobs. I'm going around having everybody sign my boobs.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, just, sure. So I'm like, hold on. You know, like, but the nicest person on the planet, Pamela Anderson, is just, you know, another really smart person is Jennifer Love Hewitt. Jennifer Love Hewitt is really smart as well. And she, you know, there was a time where Jennifer wanted to get back into the music, and she was having a lot of like stage fright. You know, she was really, you know, feeling down. So her security guard was Warren G's security guard, and he's like, "Look, I have this person I want you to meet. You know, she's an actress. Da 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 da." Didn't tell me who it was, and I'm a huge Jennifer Love Hewitt fan. You know what I mean? So when she walked in, I was like, ugh, you know, like whatever. So she just started to come to the studio and hang out. And she just hang out at the studio. She brought Tobey Maguire with her one day. And it was like, this is the new Spider-Man. And, you know, we had a cake fight and all this kind of stuff. We did a bunch of songs, like, you know, whatever, just sitting with the homies, Megan, you know, all of this kind of stuff. She ended up getting a $5 million deal with Jive, whatever it was. You know, all of this kind of stuff, and just was a total sweetheart. For my birthday one year, I was sitting with Dr. Dre in the lobby of Larrabee West, and all of these people started bringing in these boxes, and Dre and I are like looking at each other with like, what's going on? And we walk in, and Jennifer Love Hewitt comes in the door with balloons, and she said, "Happy birthday, go in the performance room." And it was just, I mean, every toy, every like stuffed animal, like, I mean, she literally filled the performance room with presents and was just such a sweetheart. Loved it. And you know, one time with Jennifer, she said, "Come to the movie set." And I went to the movie set, and she was doing that movie, one with Ray Liotta and Sigourney Weaver. I don't remember the name of it, but it was,
I know the one that they tricked them.
Yeah, but it was at the old Ambassador Hotel. And I went to her dressing room, which was a trailer, and we're sitting there talking or whatever. And then she's like, "I got to go to the set, hang out here." So I go downstairs. The next thing I know, Sigourney Weaver walks by. It was just a total whatever. She's like, you know, whatever. And then I see Ray Liotta standing in front of his trailer. And he looks over at me and goes, "Hey, want to come over and watch the game and have a beer?" And I'm like, it's freaking Ray Liotta. You know what I mean? So we just sat there and had a beer and watched the game. I asked him questions about Goodfellas. All of that was the coolest day of my life. You know what I mean? Like, I was sitting there with Ray Liotta having beers and watching the game. You know what I mean? But that's, I mean, Jennifer was great.
So in recent news, Dr. Dre's a billionaire?
Interesting how that happened. You know, it was funny. Didn't he announce a few years ago that he was a billionaire?
I thought that was already...
What happened was, if you recall, he did the deal with Beats, right? They sold it for like $3 billion, him and Jimmy. And they announced early that he was a billionaire. And Apple took $200 million off of it so he wouldn't be.
Why did they do that?
You guys didn't hear that story?
No.
Well, what happened was Dre did the deal with Beats, with Jimmy. They got $3 billion for it. Tyrese and Dre were having a party at Record One.
I remember seeing that video.
And Dre said into the camera, "I'm hip-hop's first billionaire."
Right.
But the deal wasn't done yet. And Apple told Dre and Jimmy not to say anything yet. So Tim Cook said, "Okay, I'm taking $200 million off of it, so you won't be a billionaire for talking."
That hurt.
Yeah.
And he still did the deal? Well, obviously.
Well,
he still
obviously. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean,
I would just been like, why?
800 million is 800 million. You know, like,
I'd be like, why?
But I mean, you know, hey, it was what it was. But you know, I look, Dre, I mean, I don't know. When is it enough? Dre is so rich now that, he went and got a psychology degree and his hobby is fucking with people. You know what I mean? Bring them up, break them down. You know what? Come on. You know what I mean? Like, that's your hobby? Like, okay, buddy.
Man, so how do you feel about, I think we asked you this last time about 50 and the rap beef. I don't know. I don't think it was going on, but 50 was still on the rampage. How do you feel about the beef currently with T.I. and 50?
50's been awfully quiet. I wonder what he's up to.
No good.
Because look, before the Diddy thing, he got quiet, remember?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he comes out with these documentaries. So, he's been leaking these, things saying that basically he's going to go into T.I. and Tiny's,
situation.
Yeah, there you go. A good way to put it.
Yeah.
And, it's too soon to tell what's going to happen. I think that the one thing that I noticed out of all of this is how talented T.I.'s kids are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The one
Damani, I went back and started listening to a few of his records.
All of them are talented.
Yeah, he's
even
good.
the one kid that was going at 50, what's his name?
King.
You know what I mean? King was like, man, I'm like, damn. You know what I'm saying? But look, if you're a parent, God bless those children. You know what I mean? Like, you got to hand it to them. Sticking up for their mom and doing what they're doing. God bless them, man. They was raised right. And you know what? The crazy thing about it is that's what I think about T.I. and Tiny just as people. You look at their kids and they're a close-knit family and they stuck up for their mom.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's a good-hearted kid.
Well, they got to stick together once 50 drops that documentary on T.I. and Tiny.
Let's see where it's going.
Man, hopefully it doesn't go anywhere. I don't know anything about that. How did you feel about LaRussell signing with Jay-Z?
LaRussell's doing a lot of interesting stuff right now. And I don't, the one thing that I like that he said recently is he said, look, I didn't sign to Rock Nation. They don't do anything that I don't tell them to do. But I wanted radio, and they got me radio. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, look, if it works for him, it works for him. A lot of people are giving him, backlash or whatever it is because the whole independent thing. But it's the next man's business. If you invested in that, that's what he's doing. What he's done even with Even Biz and, all of those things, like, he is a very smart guy.
Now, they're suing him.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got an email over the...
Did you?
Yeah, because they were doing a class action suit, and somehow I guess they were, how class action suit were if you want to be part of it and type shit. Yeah. I'm like, where the fuck did this email come from?
You know what? I don't know a whole lot about the Even Biz lawsuit. There's so much going on that, sometimes it's even like when you asked about the Live Nation thing, I went a little blank because right now I'm doing 10 stories a day on my Instagram. So retaining every detail about what they're doing and stuff like that, it takes me a second. If someone goes, tell me this. It's not, it was funny. I was thinking about the first time that I came and did this podcast and how focused I was and just everything that I knew at that point because I was just getting started. Okay, I'm 2 years in now in what I call my market research phase, where I'm sitting there. Any good radio guy does market research before he jumps back in the business. And he finds out what everybody is doing and, all of this stuff. And it's taken a long time. But it's so much information that I've gotten in the last 2 years that it's so hard to access some of it. And from the first one where I didn't know a whole lot, but I knew a lot about a little, you know what I mean, has changed now to a little about a lot. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like it takes a second for me to go through my freaking file cabinet in my head and remember the fourth story in day 321. You know what I mean? Like,
But do you... Well, I know it probably Even because he had ownership in Even, right?
He does have ownership in Even.
So I know, and he was kind of the face of even. And I'm sure there was something within that. You had to probably stay independent, or maybe it was overlooked. But he is the face, and he's no longer
but there's
independent.
a lot of even look at the even thing. They have deals with Universal. They did a deal with Universal.
What, distribution?
Yeah, but
Okay.
Okay. So look at the big thing. You look at Empire, for instance. You say it's an independent, but
It's changed over the years.
it's a pretty big independent with a
Right.
lot of Wall Street money in it.
Right.
So how is it an independent, or is it just the fourth major? Do you know what I'm saying?
That's fair. Yeah.
So with La Russell, how far could he go without doing Dancing with the Devil?
I mean, yeah. No, I understand
And it's
why
the
he
devil
did it.
that you choose.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
He got a chance to pick and dictate what the contract could possibly look like for him.
So I am mad at it.
Yeah, I'm not mad at him at all.
But but look, when you people love to point out contradiction in others that they perceive as contradiction in others. And when you say you're independent for so long and you act independent for so long and you do anything with anything that's attached to the system, and whether or not Rock Nation is considered an independent,
Right.
do you know what I'm saying? It's like Empire. You know what I mean? Like, so it's,
But
what do you do?
what I did notice is maybe a week or even a few days afterwards, he had a deal with AT&T. He was doing, I think it was AT&T. I think it was. And I'm sure they helped put a lot of those things in place. It was some
Khaled
major...
retired.
Huh?
Khaled retired when he signed with Rock Nation.
Yeah.
And just flies around on a jet all day.
Yeah.
I mean, look at how many brand deals he did in a 2-year period.
I know.
He did Sprite and sodas.
Weight
and
Watchers.
Weight Watchers. And I mean, he did 3 years of work and you ain't seen him. He's on a beach.
Right.
That's why TFU loves Rock Nation.
We love Jay Brown. It's so crazy because I just remember Jay Brown driving around in a beat up old car saying, when I get on, I'm not going to do this like they did me. You know what I mean? Like, he would pick me up. We lived a block away from each other. So he'd pick me up in this beat up old car and tell me the war stories of working at Quest Records and no one taking him seriously doing soundtracks, and this artist from Brooklyn, Marcy Projects, that he really believed in and, no one believed in. He's got another record from this guy, we're on the 4th fucking single. I'm like, dude, it's not working. You know what I mean? His belief in that, you know what I
Right.
mean? And in Jay-Z's brand. And then to come up and now be who he is, it's just, and even just kind of his demeanor now and stuff like that, it's just not the same guy. You know what I mean? And you think about Kanye, you think about all of the people in this business and how it changes people. A lot of people are talking about Snoop Dogg right now.
Yeah.
With the cocaine
Daz.
stuff, Daz. I mean, all of these people
What is
saying he's
going
not
on?
paying him. And it was interesting because you have to remember, when I met Dre and Snoop, Dre was $30 million in debt, 3 singles deep in Stiffs, or 2 albums and 1 single. The Aftermath album, the Firm album, and the Zoom Zoom single with LL Cool J that
Right.
didn't actually go
Yeah.
crazy. And, $30 million in debt, and people were saying it was over. Like, there was nothing that he could do at that point. I mean, they weren't going to spend another dollar on him. I mean, it was done. Snoop was dead broke. I mean, like, so broke that we gave him a job at Power 106, filled out an application, and came to work for us at Power 106, where Master P heard it and all of this kind of stuff. I ran into Snoop 6 months ago. He walked right past me like he didn't even know me, kind of just shook my hand and went, and kept walking. It's not the same guy. It's like we're talking about, Dre is not the same guy. Like, Dre and my relationship, like the plaque behind me, when I do my reports, it says, "To Damien F off Dr. Dre." You know what I'm saying? Like, that was the sarcastic relationship.
Right.
The last time I saw him, I was drinking, whatever. But I guess I said something that he didn't like or something. And, I whatever. But they're just not the same guys. You know what I mean? They're just not. It's just there's something.
Do you feel like they don't appreciate it? What you contributed to their careers?
Oh fuck no! I mean, dude, I hadn't seen Snoop in 20 years.
Now I did see I did see a video out there where Snoop was actually thanking you.
I didn't see it.
Huh?
Oh yeah. Oh, you're talking about that was recorded at
Well,
the Dre
it
and
seemed like he
Snoop
was
reunion.
speaking to you. He was,
Yeah, he
right?
was.
Because I
had
thought
the
I heard your
camera.
voice.
I had the camera, and he said, Dre and I would have never even been thinking of getting together if it wasn't for you. Now, think of that video, and then go on my Instagram when I ran into him 6 months ago, a year ago, backstage somewhere, and he just went, kind of shook my hand and kept walking.
Yeah.
That's not the same guy. And I mean, and a lot of people are saying it's not the same guy. But how could he be the same guy? Do you know what I'm saying? You give him that much money, you give him that many accolades, you get that many people kissing your ass.
Nah, you're supposed to remember.
You're drinking something else now. You know, when I saw it, look, it was disappointing to me personally. He's at Dr. Dre's induction at the Star of the Walk of Fame. And they get up and they say, what can you say about Dr. Dre? And he goes, I want to thank me for getting here and doing this and da-da-da-da-da and all this. And I'm like, that's Snoop. That's what we're seeing now. You know what I mean? It's no thanks to anybody. This is last meal Snoop. You know what I mean? This is like, nobody did anything for me. I'm the one that got me here. Fuck all y'all. I'm not paying nobody. I'm not putting nobody on. I've done enough. But
So
it's like, but there are people that help these. You know, you look at someone like Warren G. Warren G brought Dre Snoop Dogg.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? Nate Dogg, Daz, Corrupt. They all came from Warren G. You know what I mean? How does Dre treat Warren?
I don't know.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
look, it's not my business. But what I'm saying is, even with me, it's like, yo, you know, when I ran into Dre the last time, I was in my darkest time. That's when I met him, is his darkest time. And the difference was, instead of pulling me aside and saying, hey, Dame, what's going on? Can I help you? It was fuck you. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh.
And it still is. So it's like, what? You know what I mean? These people, they get money, they get power, they forget who helped. They say it's all about me.
What is Daz saying?
Look, the thing was with Daz is Daz did a lot. All of these guys did a lot. And then they didn't get what they deserved financially or respectfully. You know, and look, I'm not taking it personal. I never said anything in the 20 years. I never got a thank you on an album and an acceptance speech. You know what I'm saying? Nothing. The only thing that I have from that era is Snoop in that clip saying, if it wasn't for you, Dre and I would have never thought of getting back together.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying? But I'm not bitter about it. This is the first you've heard me talk about it.
Yeah.
But it's only because it's starting to come out and it's public knowledge that people are not treating people correctly.
Now, I know Daz has mentioned things in the past. What about Corrupt? I haven't heard much from him.
Corrupt is one of the greatest people in the world. You know what I mean? Minds his own business. He don't care. You pay him, you go home. That's it. You know what I mean? And if you don't pay him, he don't fuck with you.
Got you.
Do you know what I mean? So everybody's different. I don't know their personal shit and I stay out of it. But I'm seeing a consistent wave of fuck you coming from a lot of top artists that were humble some years back. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That as soon as you helped, they said they don't need you anymore. And by the way, fuck you on top of it. You should have helped me because I'm great. You should have, you know what I mean? And that's also kind of the attitude towards radio in general, is you should be playing my shit because I'm the greatest ever anyway. So if I gave you a single, you didn't play it, it's fuck you. Not fuck me, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, what can you say? The guy made $1 billion. Congratulations. Are you happy?
Yeah.
I mean, you bigging people up to break them down? That's your hobby?
Well,
You know, shitting on people that helped you, that's what makes you happy? You got $1 billion in the bank. What's the point? Somebody says you didn't pay me, send me the fucking invoice. I'm a billionaire.
Right.
It's just ego. It's control. Look, we talk about Epstein Files. We talk about control. There it is again. I got the money. You're broke. I like watching you squirm. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what, when you get rich enough and you get powerful enough, then you start doing weird shit. Look at Diddy. Look at all of this stuff. What more could he possibly do than to have freak-offs and manipulate people? That becomes your hobby because nothing gets you off anymore. You're a billionaire. I can go anywhere. I can buy anything. Everybody's coming to me kissing my ass.
I don't think
There ain't no
money,
bitch I can't get.
money can't do that to all of us. That's crazy.
No,
man.
but what I'm saying is that's what's sick about Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying? And then when you don't have it, those people kick you when you're down, which makes you go batty. You know how, look, you got to look at like Mariah Carey's mindset. She comes off of a run of all these number ones and all of her fans love her. Everybody loves you. She has one slip up and everybody says she's crazy.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying? All of you people that came to my shows, asked me for my autograph, asked me for a picture, all the times I stayed when I was so tired and signed every autograph and did everything you want me to do. Now you're revolting against me. Who knows their mindset? Who knows Snoop's mindset? Who knows Dre's mindset at that level? I don't know, but I know that personally, my personal feeling should be in an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what they say about, like, you know, people that, I guess, face trauma. So, like, let's say during the come up, they got, you know, fucked a couple times. And then once they get the power, they're like, okay, it's my turn now to do the fucking.
You know, I always said, treat everybody the same going up and going down.
Yeah.
Because you never know which one you're going to be.
Ooh.
You know, and that's why I was so surprised when I came back. I never took no money from nobody. I never did anything to screw anybody intentionally. Anytime you hear anybody say something bad about me, you say, give me an example of what Damien did. They can't tell you. What did he do to you? Oh, I just heard. Okay, well, what did you hear? Oh, he got drunk and talked shit to so-and-so. What did he say? So-and-so and so-and-so. Was it true? Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's the way he said it. Okay.
That's the one thing.
You know what I mean? Like,
That's the one thing I think is amazing, that the offers haven't come your way.
I'm blacklisted. I keep telling you that.
That's crazy.
And suppose, you know what someone
a
told
lot
me
of
the other
stations.
day? You know what someone told me the other day? You got blacklisted, one, because you wouldn't give anybody anything to control you, and two, because you drank. And I said, wait a minute. Somebody got blacklisted in the music business for drinking in the early 2000s, and nobody got blacklisted for popping pills?
Right.
Like, how many of these guys were on ecstasy? You want me to start talking about that? How many people were trafficking? You want me to talk about that? I saw everything, and I still ain't snitched on nobody.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, even now that you are blacklisted, and I know who's doing it, and I know everything about that person.
That's
Oh,
blacklisting
hell
you.
yes. I finally found out. And I was like, oh, really? That's the motherfucker?
Wait a minute. So you know they're able to blacklist you from radio opportunities everywhere in the United States.
All they got to do is go to the lawyers. One powerful lawyer can tell the other lawyers, don't do any deals with that person. That's what blacklisting is the lawyers. You're forgetting, like, look, everything is a system. All the big lawyers get together, have dinner. All the big oil guys get together, have dinner. All the JP Morgans and all of them, they get together, have dinner. All the Lucian Grange and his kid and whoever the head of Sony is, they get together, have dinner. And they go, oh, I don't like that motherfucker. That's all they have to say.
And you know who the person is.
Let me tell you something funny.
Okay.
I was going to do something with Lefty Gunplay one time.
Okay.
And Soulless called me up. And he goes, yo, we went to a sports company. And they said to me, Soulless saying this, you're friends with Damien. If you do anything with Damien, we can't do a deal with you because he pissed off somebody really powerful.
Damn.
That's what they told him. Ask Soulless. And when they asked him why.
And it's been years.
And it's been years. Something I said 20 years ago. I did 20 years ago. But that's how it works.
So what if that person dies? Is there freedom now?
I don't know. And I really don't give a fuck. I still do whatever I do. It's not like you can, look, you can blacklist from the lawyer shit and all the other shit from the big deals and all that, but do I really want to be in that pool? But because that's the same pool that wants you to do some weird shit to stay in that shit. I'd rather go build my own thing, make my own fan base, make my own thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not paying attention to that shit.
Got you.
So it's whether I'm blacklisted or not, that doesn't change my day. Do you know what I mean? It makes me think that one person's an asshole. And I know in the back of my head, I'm laughing because I know what that motherfucker's about.
Do you know what they're upset about?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
And it was just some words. And it was the truth.
It was just...
It was the absolute truth.
It was an argument.
It wasn't an argument.
Sort.
It wasn't an argument. It was Damizza telling you the truth and you didn't like it. And was like, who the fuck are you to tell me? Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The truth to my face. In front of people. That's what it was. So, whatever. I'm not tripping. And someday that motherfucker's gonna have to see me.
And I would love to know, though, after you guys got in that argument, how long before you start feeling pressure from your opportunities at Power?
Not till I came back.
Huh?
Not till I came back. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And I started hearing, like, the Soulless thing was the first thing I heard.
Oh, okay.
And then I was like, wait a minute, I'm blacklisted? What the fuck? You know, like, what did I do to anybody? I thought, hey, it's just some misunderstanding, da-da-da-da-da. And it took me a year and a half of digging to find out where it was coming from.
And did you ever take the time to approach the person, call the person, and say, hey, what's going on?
There was an attempt, but there was also a very strong attempt to make sure that I didn't.
Oh, wow.
Look, when you walk on the side of light and you walk with God and you're not wrong, and somebody is doing something wrong, obviously they don't want to engage with you.
Got you.
Do you know what I'm saying? That's just how this game works. But you know, the funny thing is look, I've been in this business a very long time. Seen it all. And nothing's going to change my move.
Got you.
And I don't want to party with you. And that's where you got it fucked up. Yeah, okay, if I go do this, and that just tells me that that's the wrong door. Because that's those guys. You don't want to be in with those guys. Because that's those guys.
Yeah.
That's that Epstein class. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm cool. I ain't partying with y'all.
Right.
So cool, you just told me. Because if you have control over that deal, then that means that that person is compromised.
Right.
He's doing whatever it is that you guys need to be done.
So did your friends end up doing the deal with you, or did they say, hey?
I backed away.
Oh, okay.
Because I said, look, I'm not going to look, that's the type of guy I am. I said, I'm not trying to screw up your money. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'll back up. Do you know what I'm saying? You guys go do what you need to do, and let's go arm's length from now on.
Do you ever think about starting like an independent radio station for independent artists?
We talk about it. We talk about a bunch of stuff, but you know, what's crazy is lately I've been having more fun waking up, doing my posts, and just going through the day and helping as many people as I can. The college stuff, the mentorship stuff. You know, I mean, I never thought in a million years as a 12-year-old kid that all of my dreams would come true. You know, that's what's crazy about it is someone asked me today at lunch, what do you want to do? What are you? What is your business?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I don't know. Like, I'm just happy. It's not about the money to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to make me any happier whether I have $10 million or no money. You know, what makes me happy is being Robin Hood. Going up here, getting this knowledge from these assholes and giving it to everybody else who ain't got it. And that's what I've done with this platform. How many people were talking about the music industry before I started this thing? How many accounts did you see doing news that were also infused with music before I started this thing?
Yeah.
How many people were talking about how bad artists were being treated by Spotify before I started this thing?
Yeah.
Who was talking about independent artists and giving them game before I started this thing?
Yeah.
So my mission is already accomplished, what I set out to do. So anything else is icing on the cake. Everybody else looks at what are you doing? You know, you got to get this, you got to get that, you got to keep the momentum. I already won.
Did you, when you were in the music business, and I don't know when did Ray write that letter?
Ray Daniels?
Yeah, Ray Daniels.
In 2000, during the George Floyd.
Oh, okay. No, that's too early. Okay. Did you ever read that letter?
No, but I've heard about it. I heard it's legendary.
Yeah.
Got blackballed too.
Yeah. They blackballed him.
The Jerry Maguire letter, they called it.
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for Ray.
Ray's awesome.
You know, I've talked to Ray only a couple of times, but every single time I'm impressed.
Full of energy.
Just of the human he is.
Yeah.
You know, and we've had a couple of good conversations. And I was in Atlanta. I was going to stop by and see him. Things got messed up. Then he was in LA. I was in Santa Barbara. But we, connected and talked. And my friend Mark is a good friend of his. And, just a good dude.
Yeah. I like Ray.
And it's a lot of fun. And he's a smart guy. He's a great record executive. But he's not one of those guys.
Right.
And that's also why.
Right.
Look, there's been a clean out of good guys from the record business. You notice that it's just the Epstein class.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's consolidated and gotten so tight because you have to remember now with pro rata streaming and market share, they're going to get their money anyway. So anybody that's a threat to their ecosystem or anybody that doesn't think the same way or party like they party, you're just not invited to the party. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's why they've blacklisted so many of us creatives, like no A&R people, no real music people, no vibe. There's no vibe to the music. That's why they said they could take AI music, put it on Spotify. It's just the same. Because to these people, it's just numbers. You know what I mean? They're going to get their cut of the subscription platform regardless of whether it's you making the record, me making the record, or a computer making the record. Do you know what I'm saying? So to them, they're like, oh, I'll have the computer making the record. Then I don't have to pay anybody. And if I don't make another Drake, then I don't have to negotiate with another Drake. If everybody is not exceptional, we haven't had a new basketball player that's been exceptional. You haven't had a new artist that's been exceptional. You haven't seen a scientist that's exceptional. You haven't seen anybody exceptional in the past 10 years. Is there another Eminem? Is there another Taylor Swift? Is there another Einstein? No. Because they want everybody to be the same. Sheep. They don't want you to think for yourself. They just want you to stay on the device and consume. That's all we need you to do.
Yeah, you might be right.
I am right on that one, dog.
And then lastly, we wanted to get your Erica Clark.
Any updates?
Well, I know you were talking about what's her name was posting the text messages.
Candace?
Yeah, Candace Owens.
You know, the more that this goes on, the more respect I have for Candace Owens. I hope that if something ever happens to me, one of my homies
is Candace Owens.
Candace Owens.
Yeah, because she going super hard.
Yo, but she's right. Everything that she says, she proves. When she's wrong, she says it. And the more that she goes in on Erica Kirk, the more paint is coming off of her mascara.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's something there, bro. There's just, it's kind of like the Epstein thing with the cell and all this kind of stuff. There's just too many inconsistencies. You know what I mean? There's too much stuff going on. And now, you're talking about Charlie Kirk with the text messages and everything and the Israel thing and all this kind of stuff about Erica Kirk saying he was sleeping in the other bed the night before, the rumors that they were going to have a divorce, the thing about the kids, all of this. Now he's a freaking, CHP guy. I don't know.
Is he alive? Because that's what I'm hearing now.
Look, I think he was.
I don't know what's going on now.
I think he was a paid actor and went through the freaking chute under the freaking thing, and that was an explosive. There's no way, bro. I think he's alive somewhere, just like Hitler retired to freaking Argentina, just like Jeffrey Epstein is cruising around Israel.
So Charlie Kirk is still alive.
But look, let me ask you a question. Is it more conspiratorial? Let me ask a question. Is it more conspiratorial to think that all of that stuff that you heard about Charlie Kirk is a conspiracy, or just the fact that it didn't happen? Is it more logical to think that Charlie Kirk is alive than all of those things? The Superman's bones, the kid who never shot somebody that's a perfect shot at 140 yards, no blood coming out the back, the freaking lapel that does this and goes like this, and an exit wound goes like this. I mean, all of the inconsistencies, the no autopsy, the no grave site, the taking him to a hospital an hour away, the surveillance getting wiped, the FBI coming in and saying no local law enforcement, the crime scene not being processed. A day later, they pave it over so the hatches disappear.
That part is crazy.
There's just so many things. Is it more conspiratorial to believe that all of that stuff happened and it's the truth? Or is it he's walking around somewhere in Valhalla?
I don't know where
Is
we are
it
anymore.
more I keep forgetting the word, but is it more believable that Jeffrey Epstein had a prostate, had an injury that wasn't in the realm of a suicide, that the guards fell asleep at a certain time, that was Googling his name, is it more conspiratorial to believe that and the official story of all of these, what? Or is it that the fact that maybe they just went in the 3 minutes that are missing from the tape and switched out the bodies? Which is more believable?
Switching out the bodies, I'm leaning towards that.
I mean, it sounds like the guards went to sleep, they erased the freaking video, they switched out the bodies, and he's chilling in Israel. If you had that much information on people, you had that much money, you were working for that powerful of people, what are you doing in jail anyway?
Yeah.
Was it him anyway?
Man.
When you're around that powerful people and you're manipulating governments and currencies and all of these kind of things, how does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't know.
You got Clarence Thomas in the files. You got 2 Supreme Court justices in the files. The highest court in the land.
Yeah. It's crazy that they're able, or what's crazy? It's crazy to me that they think they're able, even though they are getting away with it, to do it in our face.
Well, think about it like this. Say that you were the head of the court system.
Okay.
And I was the president of the United States. And you're the head of the FBI. And we partied together.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And we were guilty of some shit. You found out about it. You come to us and say, hey, guys, look what I found. And we're like, oh, come on, bro. We'll buy you a beer. All right. Delete. It's that easy.
Every decision gets made in a room.
Well, look at how many people they fired. Look at how many people disappeared.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, what was crazy is the day that Jeffrey Epstein got out of jail from Florida, he won the lottery.
That's wild.
Powerball lottery for $80 million.
Didn't he win twice, apparently?
Yeah, twice.
They was like, it's a $2 trillion to 1 for that to happen. Now that stuff is crazy. What about the 9 police officers that died that viewed that tape? Now that's crazy.
Come on, dog. And the fact that Anthony Weiner is still walking around.
That is crazy.
A file that says life insurance on your laptop where 9 police officers that watched it died and he's still walking around in public. That's crazy. Then you have Hillary asked about it, and that's the only question that they say we've got to go off the record.
Yep. She didn't want no part of that.
Answer all the Epstein questions you want. Answer every other question. You start talking about frazzle drip.
She didn't want no part of it.
No. And you see the look on her face.
Yeah.
She just sat back and just went.
Yeah.
And they were like.
That's the video they took out of our TikTok, too. I messed up. I forgot that. Oh, shit. I cannot. Frazzle drip. TikTok.
What happened?
When Maverick last time he came around, he had a talking about Hillary, and I didn't vet. I put it on TikTok, and basically,
I love Hillary. Hillary's sexy. Come on, sugar mama. No, Hey, did you see Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton walking in Manhattan together
where he pushed her
with the secrets?
I did not see that. Where he pushed her?
Allegedly pushed her. Maybe he's an old man.
Look, but
he's an old man.
Okay, so let me ask you a question about Trump. Let me just ask you a question. About Trump. So have you ever had an 80-year-old grandfather?
Yeah, my grandma is old right now. She repeats herself a lot.
Okay, so you know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And you know how you can kind of manipulate the elderly into anything.
Pretty much.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you sit there, oh, grandma, da 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 da, you know, oh, here's $20. You know what I mean? Like, or grandma, this, that, and the other. Oh, here's I'll make you spaghetti, whatever it is. Think about Trump. He's 80 years old.
You know what I noticed though?
Oh, did you hear the videotape this morning? Sorry to interrupt.
Well, let's hear it.
So this morning, they're all sitting in the Oval Office with the Japanese prime minister of everything, and someone had a hot mic, and they didn't realize it was on, and Trump was moving around in his seat, and Ted Cruz or J.D. Vance was moving around in his seat, and we don't know which one they were talking about, but they go, don't worry, I Scotch guarded the couch before they sat down.
That's for Trump.
Do you remember when Trump was on Fox News?
Yeah. Yeah. And there's other people that say he stinks.
Well, and here's the thing, though. Sasha Riley is going to do an interview on it's one of the news channels, who said that the reason why Trump has no control of his bowels is because he tried, like, he wanted Sasha Riley when he was a kid to have sex with him, and Sasha Riley grabbed a wooden tent pitch post thing and put a condom on the end of it and shoved it up and kicked it, and Trump had to be medevaced out, and he said there's medical records to back that up.
What's wrong with you?
That's disgusting.
Is that what you said happened?
But this kid, you haven't seen the Sasha Riley tapes?
I haven't seen that one.
He's one of the accusers. He's going to do an interview. Apparently, there's lie detector tests. There's police reports. There's all of this stuff that puts him and Jeffrey Epstein and some of the others and Homeboy in a... Yeah, and they're saying that there's medical records to prove that he's the one that caused the damage of why Trump is...
So he's been like this for a while.
Yeah. I mean, for a long time, people have said he smells. And that they were around him and he He's got some, oh, it's so messed up. They were saying in one of the interviews that Trump has a guy whose job is to follow him around and help him change his diaper and clean. He can't reach it.
Yeah, this is.
I mean, it's crazy, bro.
That's crazy.
I mean, and come on, he's got like one of those medevac things or whatever it is for the pacemaker for the heart. He's that you could see in his jacket.
He has a
sometimes.
pacemaker on?
Yeah, you've never seen the little box that's on him like a thing hanging.
Who did we elect? These people are
look
crazy.
at his hands. They're all from IVs. And,
Yeah. I see the
come
hands.
on, dog. He's not in the best of health. And he's up there. I mean, come on, dog.
How is he gonna? You think he's gonna get through these years?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
No, I think he's... Look, when he said the thing about Gavin Newsom, I was like, we're getting there.
Yeah. When he called Gavin Newsom the president.
And did you see him this morning? He had a plane on his desk, like a little toy plane, and like a little kid, he's going, like he's playing with it, like he's a little kid. This is the president of the United States. And some of the stuff that he's saying.
He's saying wild shit.
But it's just not presidential.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to think of the American presidency. Like, what it meant, what it was, the beacon of hope, light, liberty, justice, the American way. I mean, even if under the skirt it was, whatever. But at least it presented and gave people hope.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now it's like Biff Tannen's hotel. You know what I mean? It's like, it's crazy, man.
Now, lastly, I wanted to ask you, how do you feel? Do you think Stephen A. Smith is going to make a real shot at this? I know you love politics.
I think he probably will. Do I think he'll win? No. I think he's polarizing. And I think he switches up too much.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't think he's got a chance in hell. And I think, it's ego and vibrato and people pushing him along and making him think that, But, it's like, there's been a lot of people that have run where it's like, you could say Ross Perot and his friends and his money gave him the, to do that. You got, so many people over time that ran that, there's no way. I mean, the system, the way that it's set up, if you look, it's people that are backed by big corporations. I mean, Oprah and the media guys got Obama elected. The media guys and what was the early tech folks got Clinton elected. You got, the banking system that got Bush elected, the military-industrial complex. You got, it's Wall Street. Look, red or blue, it's two wings of the same bird. It's the same, comes out the ass. You know what I mean? Blood or Crip.
Gotcha.
You get high enough and the bosses sit together and let the little guys fight it out. You know what I mean? Over the territory. But the decisions are made at the dinner table.
Gotcha.
I will say this. One
Okay.
of the wisest things that I ever, or not wisest, but one thing that someone told me about every business, he goes, every decision is made at the dinner table above your head, no matter what business you're in. So no matter who you're seeing, you think the president is the most powerful man in the world. He's not.
Right.
His main donor is the most powerful person in the world because he can manipulate the president. Right now, Benjamin Netanyahu is the most powerful person in the world because he manipulated the president of the United States to get us into a war just because he wanted it.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so it doesn't. Power is a facade. You go back to the Wizard of Oz, and what do they always tell you? They show you in movies. They said power was the Wizard of Oz. It's one guy behind the curtain operating a really well-produced show. And that's why it always brings me back to is what show are we watching?
Yeah.
And what season? It's always great to see you guys.
Yeah.
Good
Thanks
to
for
see you,
coming.
man.
Happy Hanukkah. If you're atheist, have a nice day.
Yeah.
And I know we're getting into trouble at least once.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
At least once. Thank you for coming,
My pleasure.
Yeah.